Hello and good morning, everyone. This is Jay from ChainSafe Gaming, and we're here today with an awesome guest. If you've noticed something different about my background, it's because we're currently in Brazil for the Brazil Game Show. So if you're in Brazil, you're a game studio, you're interested in Web3 game development, then feel free to reach out to me or any one of our teammates. We'll be here on the ground for the next week or so, and we'd love to get in touch. For anyone tuning in for the first time, ChainSafe is an R&D firm focused on blockchain protocol research. We help build protocols from scratch, smart contracts, consulting, auditing, and custom game development tools. This is part of our series where we talk to interesting Web3 games that are doing something innovative. And today we have a guest who is completely changing the game. So, with that said, I don't want to go too deep without introducing them, but let's bring Hero to the stage to talk about Truworld. Welcome, Hero.
Hey, thanks for having me here, and really honored to be here with amazing ChainSafe here, and also our communities, whoever is interested to the gaming, to crypto, to Web3, and to real world. So my name's Hero, founder of Truworld, CEO, and previously working Coinbase, but now we're building Truworld, an innovative, one-of-a-kind game that you are going to explore soon in the next 5 minutes. So yeah,
Nice, thanks. It's been great talking to you. It's great to finally touch base with you. I know we did events in the past with ChainSafe in our offices. I've been kind of watching you progress over the past, I want to say like 6 months or so. So it's great to have you on the stream.
yeah, thank you so much. So the relationship between like ChainSafe and us, True World, is pretty much like we've been deeply connected since the day one, and it was I believe it was sometime during April or March where you hosted the first base event in Toronto, and our project is actually headquartered in Toronto as well. So we got connected at that day, and but we would never imagine what happened, during the next summer. So in this summer, True World is launched on Base, and we're featured in Coinbase on Chain, Base on Chain Summer. Also, we are the Base on Chain Summer Hackathon winner. And then after that, we got lucky to help Base to co-host a Base community meetup event during Blockchain Futurist, the the biggest crypto conference in Canada, in Toronto as well. And we hosted that event in the ChainSafe's office. And thank you again for helping us put everything together for that event. And then we talk during that event. We basically talk about the future of mass adoption, what it looks like for crypto to have real world utility, and we shared our visions in terms of how gaming can change everything and how crypto is so perfectly for prepared for games. And yeah, and then we just talk about everything, and we've established a real good friendship from True World and ChainSafe, from everybody there. Shout out to the amazing team from ChainSafe, and yeah, appreciate it again for having me here.
Thanks. I really appreciate the shout outs. It's been definitely awesome working with you and getting to learn more about you. But for anyone who's not familiar, what inspired the creation of True World, and give a brief explanation of what is True World.
Yeah, I will start with what is True World first, and then I'll briefly explain why True World. So, you know, in True World here, we are building a real world gamification and also social application there. So this is not just a simple game, but more of a gamification of the real world. So think about Pokemon Go. Pokemon Go is the gamification for the real world, and it invites people from going to places and catching Pokemons. But in fact, you are not just enjoying a game, but also you are enjoying the interactions with the real world, and that is something bringing the unique excitement for Pokemon Go. So here in True World, what we do is that we are elevating the real world into a metaverse sort of like look-alike experience, and also kind of like a Pokemon Go. But instead of catching Pokemons in Pokemon Go, in True World, you are catching crypto rewards. You are leveling up in the True World and catching crypto airdrops here and there. So, for example, in Pokemon Go, you go there, you catch probably like a Pikachu, but in True World, you might be able to find some airdrops just around the corner in a coffee shop, in a restaurant, or like a shopping mall for its grand opening, crypto events, music festivals, things like those. And those events will put up, airdrops in a way of, giving back to the community and inviting users, people from the entire region to go there. And beyond that, we also wrap it up with some sort of other gamification features. One of my favorite is called Fog of World. This is really special in True World. And yeah, I see you laughing, cause smiling, because as pretty much we all gamers here, and we are all familiar with games. 99% of the game has a minimap, and that map basically illustrates your interaction with the game world. For example, you see a map covered with black fogs, and it start with just like a little circle where like like your birthplace. But as you explore, you travel, and you are taking adventures in those game world, you started to exploring, and you see places like and those places will be erased from the fog of war. Like the fogs will be cleared, and so that it unveils the land beyond beneath the fogs, so that you know which places you've been to and places you have not been going to. However, pretty much we all live in a game of life, life of game, or whatever it was called, game of life. But think about, like, this real world is actually a playground, right? This world, the world map is actually the mini map, like the game map for everybody's big game of life. And imagine yourself as the main character for your life's game, and this game only comes once. You only live once, right? But like, why it does not have the minimap? And even beyond that, like, why there is no such thing as fog of world for everybody to help us to visualize and record the places we've been to in real world, if we are living like a matrix world. So that's why we built Truworld for the visualization of fog of world. And also beyond that, we elevate the real world map, all kinds of like real world interactions, into a gamified metaverse experience. For example, you can have quests in real life for going to places, maybe travel and unlock 10 fogs, and maybe go to some specific places and clear some chests. So that's everything about True World. And with that, we hope to build the missing link from the Web3 world to real world. And we think gaming and also crypto is so perfect for this, for mass adoption, for real world utility.
Yeah, so I love a lot of things that you're touching on. Personally, I've always been drawn to this idea that life is a game, that you can find things in the real world and it could be a lot more interactive. So I love that approach. As far as like the fog of war, I live in New York City. It's a massive city. There's some blocks I've been living here my whole life and I would never go down that block. So the
Yeah.
fog of war brings that to you, right?
Yeah, exactly. So imagine you have like a fog of world, and you have True World installed in your app, and pretty much like there will like nobody will actually ever visit every single corner streets of a single city. Not even mention about the world, or like the countries, or like you've been to. People are usually stay in their little own comfort zone instead of going out and explore, particularly when you don't have like a map for that. But with True World, a possible like future will be look like, when you today you wake up, you pull up True World, and you see, okay, I've been to these kind of like places, but today I'm just trying to find a new place for maybe take a walk, for jogging, like take a running, or something. Maybe I just want to visit a park or some new cafes that's in the neighbor that I've never been to. I'm real curious about what it looks like there, right? Just like in a lot of games, like people wanted to explore the game map. People wanted to, find out what's kind of like the Easter eggs or some excitements hidden in all kinds of like areas. You can do the same thing in real world if you have such thing, a mini map for your big game of life. And True World, we are building this application. We're building this alive for everyone here.
Love it. And you mentioned like this idea that you can find like loot boxes and prizes in different locations. And it kind of reminds me of geocaching. Have you ever gone geocaching?
Yes, yes. Yeah, geocaching has been like a big topic pretty much like 10 years ago, I would say. But at that time, there was only just like pretty much online. We don't have crypto at the time. This is the actual reason why it wasn't that big. But like, don't get me wrong, it was big. A lot of people are actually so fascinated about geocaching, like Foursquare, and also like after that there are like kind of like, it's called Zenly. I'm not sure if you heard about it, but this is actually what uh Zenly is actually the, I think, the inventor of like location based social, where you see yourself and your friends together on the same map, and you got a chance to throw some emojis to each other, talking about places you've been to. And for sometimes, like somebody like boyfriends or girlfriend, they will spy on each other using Zenly, because it's kind of like live map showing the other person, or actually your friendship. So you can find out like, okay, these kind of like two guys hang out together, like maybe they have like new events or something going on there, and you're gonna ask them, okay, what's going on there. So this is kind of like the involvement for geocaching. And after that, we have way like more gamification added into location based apps or geocaching, that is kind of like Pokemon Go, right? But Pokemon Go is sort of like different angle. It's kind of like using the real world to invite people from going to places catching Pokemons. This is like an extremely interesting idea. But during the time when Pokemon Go was so viral, it was 2017 or 2018, I guess. Crypto was not really ready for a big, massive application at that time. And DeFi summer hasn't even started. People have not building, like we were not have, like, we don't really have the infrastructures ready for gaming. We don't have layer 2, we don't have layer 3. At that time it was just Ethereum, and i I don't know if Polygon was even there, Avalanche or BSC was even there. Uh, so like the on-chain transactions are so expensive. So after like a few years, I think around 2020, 2021, when metaverse and gamification, like GameFi was a huge thing, a lot of people are actually trying to implement like Pokemon Go rip off, like a copycat for Pokemon Go on chain in crypto, and trying to have those kind of like Pokemon as NFT rewards for people to go to places and cashing that. One of the big projects called Universe, and it's actually so popular in Japan. But in True World, we've seen like the trend, from evolving in this kind of like geocaching or location based industry. But what we think is that we take a sort of like a unique angle with with airdrops instead of like with Pokemon. This is our unique angle. Because of that, we think it's really hard to for everybody to rebuild a like kind of like an IP that is so popular like Pokemon Go. And also, even if you do, it's unlikely to happen in crypto, when people are so much focused on different things and distracted by projects. So that would be like super hard for a crypto or a Web3 project to do. But at the same time, we don't want to identify ourselves as like a solely Web3 gaming company or Web3 gaming gaming or social application, but more of like we're targeting in a different aspect. For geocaching, if we remember, at the time when it was started, like it was so like Foursquare was really viral. And Foursquare is basically like a location-based yellow page or location-based indexing application that a lot of places can go there and post their business for advertisements. And when people are noticing those advertisements, they can go to those places. And that's kind of like a real world location-based user acquisition. So in Truworld here, why we are integrating the airdrop, like we're implementing the airdrop approach, is that if we think about this, deeply, as the web, the internet is evolved from beyond like pre-internet, when people doing advertisements and marketing by sending out flyers on the street. But like nobody's even doing that when we have an internet right now, and a lot of people uh, are starting using like online advertisements. For example, it started with Google and YouTube, and this is basically how they got really big in the first place. That is we call Web 1 when Google and YouTube was so popular. And then we have Web 2, that is social media, social networking, and user generated content. So people, instead of like paying for those traditional online advertisements, people are starting to paying users, to paying those KOLs, influencers, and platforms to purchase those reviews or social media advertisements. Like Instagram, we see advertisements on Instagram and Facebook every day, and this is kind of like why people hate Facebook today, because it's full of advertisements. Like I said, full of advertisement isn't really generally a good experience. Nobody wants to see online advertisement, and they do not guarantee real foot traffic. So, like there's kind of like two layers of conversion. First, you need to convert those online exposures to real foot traffic, and then you need to convert those foot traffic into real customers. That's huge. But what if we can combine geocaching and online advertisements and crypto, and also a little bit of gamification to invite users? This is what we do in Truworld. So think about this loop where crypto, we incentivize user interactions with protocol blockchain with rewards. We call it airdrops. So when people are interacted, we give them some rewards as if users are part of the community, so they should earn their own portion. And we can totally apply the same on geocaching and locations, so that the business, the ownership of some places like crypto events or Web3, or maybe like flash mobs, pop up stores, music festivals, things like those, they can establish airdrops on their locations and put up, say, hey, first 100 people coming here, we get $1 for you. Like for first 500 people, we have $5 off, and for the 500 to 1,000 people, we have $3 off. It's kind of like a way that putting up like geocaching advertisements, and in the same time, it's reward for the users. And beyond that, in True World, we're wrapping it up with a positive feedback loop, like the gamification I mentioned, like little chats, mysterious like places, like rewards, treasure hunts in cities, to inviting users and people from going to places to contribute their kind of like foot traffic to those places, while the business can easily get their user acquisition in real life at a much cheaper price compared to Web2 projects. So this, hopefully, I've talked a lot, but this is kind of like the detailed idea of why True World, why we're building a sort of like different angle. And like I mentioned, we are building a game and a social experience for our users, but at the same time, we are building kind of like towards a bigger scope where those game and social and crypto features all like they all come together naturally and organically combined into the growth and the in the of the bigger True World ecosystem for users, business, and also our partnerships in terms of gaming aspect here.
So yeah, you touched on a lot of really cool things, and I don't think a lot of people realize what the business model behind Pokemon Go is, and it's that exactly what you're touching on. This is a new avenue of advertising, of driving foot traffic to specific locations, and it can be done in a really subtle way. So I was reading a while ago about how like Starbucks would partner with Pokemon Go so that the gyms would be located around a
Yeah.
Starbucks. So you draw people in crowds into this area. You're not necessarily in their face with advertisements, but they're all playing, they're all hanging out here. They're probably going to want something to drink, maybe a coffee or something like that, and they just so happen to be right by a Starbucks.
Yes. Yes, exactly. And imagine in True World, the futures can be look like people can check out those Starbucks locations in True World and see, okay, this place is buy one get one free, and the other place is kind of like $2 off, things like those. And but like what's even more interesting is that if you think about like Pokemon Go, they're not naturally built for advertisements. To be honest, they're built for the game itself. And one of like particular like user case for Pokemon Go is that people are basically there to catch those Pokemon. You can never kind of like rename the Pokemon in the name of the store, or you can never try to kind of like maximize the impact. For example, like you can never put up like Pikachu with let's say Nike or Adidas on it. that will be really hard and awkward for them to do that. But naturally, if it's reward given out by the store, by the location, people will always realize, okay, this airdrop is sponsored by somebody. This airdrop is given by Starbucks, let's say. So that will give the business a better reason, to collaborate with some place that is, naturally available, and it's naturally organically built for advertisement business. But instead of, with kind of like Pokemon Go. But like, don't get me wrong, like, I'm not criticizing Pokemon Go. They're still one of the best location-based application ever been built. And what's more interesting is that, I'm not sure if you heard about it, but in Truworld, we have an advisor who's previously CTO for Pokemon Go. Do you know that?
No, I actually didn't know that. That's pretty insane. That's amazing.
Nice. And what's more important is that he was also previously advisor for Snap. Like Snap. Snap has, oh, yeah, I didn't really talk about this, but like I mentioned, one application was called Zenly. Snap basically acquired Zenly, and that is the former version of SnapMap. So they acquired Zenly and they built SnapMap. And SnapMap is basically a location-based social application, location-based social media. And how they monetize is really through those advertisements. But with crypto, we can definitely beat Web 2 business in terms of like user acquisition, because we have like airdrops, we have rewards. People are, you know, we are building such that those advertisements is actually part of the game, part of the application, part of the experience, instead of something like Facebook or like Instagram, where it's only taking value and attracting attention from users without paying them anything. So this is the magic of decentralized world that we've lived in.
Yeah, so I think you mentioned something that's pretty interesting. The whole comparison between Pokemon Go being focused around like the monsters and getting these Pokemon, battling them. So any sort of like revenue stream can't be in your face. It can't. It has to be subtle. Whereas when you're talking about NFTs, it's kind of more common for you to get an airdrop from a company
Yeah.
and know that it's coming from them. So it allows you to do a lot more things with organizations. And one thing I want to go on to is like you can do these kind of rewards and stuff with maybe some Web 2 techniques,
Mhm.
but how does like True World leverage NFTs and making collectible digital assets in the real world exciting for players? I have a ton of ideas how this could be interesting, and I'm curious to see like what ideas you're playing with.
Yeah, nice. That's a super amazing question. Because to be honest, NFT is huge, like has played a huge role in crypto and in terms of its utility or mass adoption. I remember like by the time of 2021, NFT was so huge, and I actually bought a lot of NFTs. Even like this year, I'm a big fan of NFT. So that NFT can be there in multiple form, and normally, and most this is most like utilized case that NFT has been utilized as profile pictures. So first of all, in True World, everybody will be able to build a virtual avatar, just like you have similar avatar in your all of RPG games. So you have yourself, and you can pick whatever NFT you want as your profile picture and show it off on the map and on the leaderboard that everybody can see. So this is kind of like empowering the NFT with some utility. This is only just the start. And even beyond that, like I mentioned, we have an avatar there. So there will be like some features to help users to build their avatar. For example, changing some outfits, changing the skins, the color of their uniform, of their suits, whatever. And that's kind of like an additional layer of NFT that we utilize. But this all of these is just the user profile and user avatar use cases, but we have even more. So, like I mentioned, we just minted. We collaborated with Base to put up like a on-chain summer NFT on-chain pass marketing campaign, and we receive over 160,000 people on Base uniquely to mint our free mint NFT. and the total of the NFT mint is 3.5 million. And one extra metric on this is that the total base on-chain summer volume for all kinds of on-chain assets mint is 24 million. And we got 3.5, that is 1/8 of the total traffic of base on-chain summer. That's crazy. So that, like I mentioned here, like why do I brought this up is that um, NFT can show the support from the community to our project. So like we've got so many people, unique addresses minted our NFT, and they are all naturally the early supporters for Truworld. And beyond that, we will definitely have some benefits for those because like for the NFT holders. For example, we put up a on-chain a web portal for our early NFT users to be able to log in and start completing quests, leveling up, share Truworld from today, from actually like last month, even before our application has started. So this is kind of like NFT as a loyalty badge for some community, for some project, and also in the same time, the project can give back some value to the users. This really inspired us to apply the same idea to real world use cases. So think about NFT gated loyalty program in real world stores. For example, if you are NFT community, let's say, and you hold a board ape, and you are going to a board ape community meetup, and only board ape holders can be eligible to claim some unique airdrop that they are going to release soon, and it's kind of like a limited edition for 20 people only. So at that time, you as a board ape holder, you have advantages, but this is for crypto, right? But there are more use cases in real world stores. We go to, for me myself as a nation, I go to boba shop a lot, like bubble tea places. Normally, what do they do? Oh, am I logging?
A little bit, but you're back in.
Can Okay, I'm back. Cool. Yeah. So where yeah, like I'm an Asian guy, so I go to bubble tea store places a lot, boba shops. So like what they traditionally do with loyalty is that they will give you a little card with 10 slots, and they will stamp like each slots once, like every time you bought like a boba or a bubble tea or whatever you visited. But it's kind of like a stamp, and it's kind of like a card that I will lose every time after visiting. So it's kind of really hard for me to gather 10 to show my loyalty to that place. Even if I've visited 20 times, 30 times, I'm not able to gather 10 stamps on the same card. But if you have a wallet, if you have like a True World profile and you're using True World, the places is using True World to airdrop you the NFT badge. And to add like kind of like a digital stamp on your profile, so that every after 10 visits you got 10 NFTs, and those 10 NFTs can be utilized to redeem one free drink. That will be some amazing, interesting use cases for the real world. And what most importantly is that, slightly beyond that, think about Starbucks. So every time you like everybody visited Starbucks, they have their reward program and they have their loyalty points, so that you are paying your money to get some stars to their kind of like Starbucks, the Starbucks stars. And once you've accumulated some certain level, certain amount of Starbucks stars, you're able to redeem some stars with some drinks. And those stars can be totally built on chain and on Trueworld. And Trueworld we're building towards a future where Trueworld can be utilized in multiple programs, in multiple projects for multiple business. Like Starbucks can use an account, like a business account, to issue their own uh, airdrops across multiple stores, and all kind of like airdrops share a same point system. Whereas on the other side, Tim Hortons can build their own program, and when McDonald's can build their own program, and everything can be pretty much connected. And it's kind of like a one in all experience that we are building, instead of like independent separate loyalty programs. So this is really interesting, and this is why where we kind of like have some real world utility for NFTs, particularly in real world.
Oh man, hearing your ideas, I just got like a million other like possibilities that came to mind. So I think first, congratulations on your mint. That's like absolutely incredible. I remember you sending that in our group chat. So congratulations on being able to accomplish that. I think everyone believes in your system, and they're showing through purchasing your NFTs. Um, but when we go into like the idea of rewards and loyalties and token gating, it's bringing a lot of data that's kind of outside of the game and bringing it into the game, understanding customers on a deeper level and giving them unique opportunities. I think that part of it's fascinating. Um, and, and then when you talk about like NFTs from like let's say like Starbucks and stuff, it made me think: is there any sort of like user generated content? Because I'm thinking maybe if there's like several bars within a strip, they could come together to do like a bar crawl, where if you're going from place to place, maybe you can get an NFT from each one of them, and then maybe get like a drink or something if you collected all the badges.
Yeah, that's the plan. That's the plan. So there are tons of things that we can do, like you mentioned. And our plan is that we're going to start with just a simple location based airdrop and also the point system for the business owners. Then we can combine this so that we can build True World as if it's kind of like a flexible place for people to issue, like you mentioned, real world quests. And that will be so super interesting because back to the gaming side. So for everybody's big game of life, right? And we have in True World, we are building the minimap for everybody's big game of life. We're building the minimap for, like I mentioned, fog of world explorations and our little airdrops. And if you compare True World with a game, those little airdrops are actually some resource points that you go in the game world and you go there. For example, you can mine something, you can collect some herbs. That would be the airdrop. And further beyond that, in a lot of games, are especially RPG games, there will be quests. There will be quests issued by the NPC, and it's kind of like inviting you to go to some places, check out 3 places in a row, maybe collect a few other airdrops to be eligible for the final, reward for the quest. And that will be the kind of like a future we are building into, kind of like an open platform with the gamification of the world, and same time we're allowing everybody to be their own main character in their own RPG game of life. But in the same time, people and user can also be the NPC for everybody else. And in fact, if you really think about this, I am actually the NPC for your game of life. And here I can issue some like quests. For example, hey Jay, host this stream for True World and get exposure to like thousands of communities and do whatever. So this is just a comparison with True World and game. But what we're building is kind of like a future where people can really issue some rewards in real world, and those rewards can should have some a criteria for the people to complete in real world, such that it has both a gamification and social criteria, but in the same time it's fun and interesting. And there are even like tons of possibilities, like treasure hunts, for example. We can hide maybe like 2 Ethereum within a city, and whenever who first arrived there, and do some like mind digging and see, okay, this is like 2 Ethereum. But there are way more stuff like we can build in that kind of like aspect. So it's kind of like user generated quests or user generate, yeah. And even beyond that, just wanted to sort of like elevate on that. For the user generated content is so important in crypto and also in social networking, social media. Just beyond everything that I have mentioned, our long term goal, like the final version of True World, will look like a decentralized Yelp or a decentralized Google review or like Google Map. But this map is totally different from like a utility map where you use Google Map or to navigate. But in True World, it's everything about gamification, about rewards, about airdrops, about the quests, and about okay, is this place interesting enough? If it's yes, I may be able to post some reviews or journeys of my past experience there and help me to emphasize and collect my historical travel path for that place. For example, if I've been to Eiffel Tower, it's the fog of Eiffel Tower has been uncleared on my in my true world, and I can totally leave a journey there. And if it's helpful for the other users can be able to maybe be able to tip me with that. And even further beyond that, for example, Instagram. Nowadays, a lot of like places they are rewarding users with one free dish if they post on Instagram, right? We can do the same thing in True World. If you go there, leave a journey in True World, and you are eligible for the airdrop claim, and that is actually like one kind of real world quest that I just mentioned. So yeah, hopefully, like I talk too much about little secrets of True World and our secret sauce from success. Hopefully that don't hopefully like my team won't blame me about it.
Yeah, hopefully not. I'm never too sure how deep to go with some of these talks, but I think you touched on a lot of cool things about how like AR and NFTs are changing the landscape going into the future. I love the idea of me being able to create quests, and you could even potentially create quests where like you need two or three people. So like you're forced to engage with other people that could be in true world, in the real world, that like you form a team temporarily to accomplish this quest, and then you all get rewarded for participating in that.
Yeah, yeah, you got it right. We actually have a team feature in True World, and people can team up from just like you do in RPG game. Like people just form a team, do whatever things that they explore together. You can travel together, you see each other together, and also at the same time you are earning together in True World. You'll be sharing some actual rewards in terms of fog of war exploration, some boosted level up experience, like a boosted experience, things like that. But what's more important is like what you mentioned, like a team quest. For example, in order to be this bar and watch this football game tonight, you need to have four people together, and so that we can give reserve you a table, whatever. If you come along, maybe you have some different quests of talking with somebody else and make a new friend. Like it's just kind of like all kinds of things we can do because of True World here. We are building the missing link between crypto world and the real world. We utilize the gamification in the real world to build those bridges so that people don't feel like so that a normal daily life can feel much more interesting compared to what it is today because we don't have visualizations in real world. We don't have gamifications in real world. It's really hard for everybody to see their progress, right? Like you don't like we don't even know like in this places how many places I've been to. Like even for our little own city, I still have so many places I've never been to, even after I used Truworld. And I see, okay, maybe tomorrow I will go there because we only live once. Everybody only live once, and there's only one Earth. And Earth is actually the ultimate playground for everybody. And there's no good game that is good enough to be compared with the real world. But for real world, we need just a little bit of elevated visualization and elevated reward and also gamification. So that's why that's why we're building. We really believe in this future.
Yeah, I'm definitely sold on it. I love the UGC component of this. I think I'll probably come up with a bunch of different quests to give people. It's awesome. It's awesome and it's unlimited, like unlimited, really, right?
Yeah, unlimited possibilities in future.
So now you spoke about like businesses getting involved in advertising and working with different organizations. So I'm curious, like, how can a business or an artist reach new audiences? And like, is there an onboarding process? Like, if someone wants to be a part of this, what do they do?
Yeah, that's a good, really good question. So for the business onboarding, the I'll actually start with the user onboarding here. Why do I want to start with user onboarding is because of in crypto we are actually building the project for a community, and like we've talked in the base community event, everyone is a builder in crypto, and the builder is not necessarily building for the project in terms of technical or marketing, but everybody, especially the community, they are the builders for the community. And once think about it, people can like crypto is really good for uniting people together, and we can have like we can really build a strong community from users. And then when we have like users going on today every day, checking out places, airdrops here and there will certainly be projects like business, no matter if it's Web3 business or Web2 business, trying to onboard and see, okay, how can I attract this amount of users and see if they will be willing to go to my places. And in fact, this actually do work in True World. We are building an open platform that is open to everybody, to anybody, and anybody can create any type of on-chain airdrops in real-world locations in any specific time range and on any locations. And this feature is actually we have the demo version for this feature in our web portal, and maybe someone from the community watching this live can drop this link in the comment section or not. I'm not sure if it's allowed to drop links, but yeah, check out True World Twitter, and we actually have the link for it. And there's a tab called World Drops, where it's just like a sneak peek of this feature, what it looks like. What we can do is that the business can go there self onboarded to create an airdrop on any specific locations, and it's just as simple as create uh, a kind of like a web page or create a TikTok profile where you enter your location, your name, your time range, and the price you want to distribute to, and how many people you want to airdrop to. Let's say I can create a hundred US dollar giveaway to 100 people in the shopping mall next corner and see, okay, this Sunday evening there's a grand opening for my store, and voila, it's there, and it will be live at that specific time range, and people in True World can be able to see it before it starts. And when actually it's within the time range, when people go there, they are able to claim the reward, just like how Pokemon Go works. And yeah, as simple as that. And this is, think about we're going to start with Web3 people, where, it's really a lot of people are actually, especially the business, are exposed to crypto, and they can airdrop anything to their audience. They can airdrop like tokens, meme coins, and actually, meme coin is specifically interesting because we're now collaborating and talking with a lot of like meme coin communities, and they really love this idea of airdropping some token to their community meetup. And what they can do is totally similar. When they decided the time and the location, they can host a giveaway at that time and location to attract even more people from True World to go into that place. And what is more important is that, compared to the traditional online social media advertisements, the advertisement in the gamified way within True World is actually part of uh, game, and it actually worked because it's skipping the first conversion step from online exposure to real foot traffic, and we the business, no matter if it's creator, artists, or events, they are directly paying in kind of like somewhere around $1 or even less than that for one real world user acquisition. And like we're both in North America, and we know how expensive it is in terms of real world user acquisition. And even for crypto, the user acquisition per like the cost per customer for online user in crypto is somewhere around $1, not even mentioning like real world user acquisition. So this is like a great opportunity for business. And to onboard some Web2 users or Web2 business, it's something it's, to be honest, it's really a long story. And this is something that the entire crypto space is struggling for, to onboard Web2 business. But for us, what we want to do is that we start with our community small. We start with crypto first, and then as the marketing is evolving, as the online is evolving, as the internet is evolving, we will be definitely going towards like building towards a day where the real world business will be starting to accept crypto. And in fact, there are already a lot of like places that accept crypto. For example, Base is rolling out a series of based cafe where they accept USDC. And our plan here in Trueworld is that once our application goes live, we are trying to integrate, like put up those airdrops for free for those base cafe on the locations to invite people going to the base cafe and try to buy a coffee. This is totally for free, and that we're trying to give to the base community, to the North American community, and to those. This is kind of like an extra bonus for the merchants for those stores who are the pioneers for the real world business to starting accepting crypto. So also like for the audience here, if you are building something in real world, if you're a real world business owner and you accept crypto, please let me know, and we'll be willing and we'll be loved to put up and set up some online on-chain true world uh, airdrops to your location and promote it for free.
I love that. That is amazing. There's so many cool things in this game, and I feel like with the Web 2 games, you could even Web 2 like a traditional retailer, coffee
Yeah.
shop or stuff like that. You can kind of create the airdrop, not even necessarily partnering with them, but to show that there's crypto users that are interested in buying stuff in your store with crypto, and you can just like automatically drive the users there without them even being aware. They'll just people are coming in and be like, "Hey, do you accept crypto or whatever?" And then you have this stream that's coming in from like True World.
Yes, that's a future, and that's what we really love about crypto is that our community believe in crypto. Our community believe in the future of Web3, and we believe in a future where like the value and should be like distributed, and also like we should try to avoid as much as like the middle person as possible. For example, Facebook, Instagram, where they take thousands of dollars for online advertisements. And for me, like I'm the founder and CEO for True World, and I need to deal with a lot of like advertisements online, and those online advertisements are so expensive that even like we can never afford it. But at the same time, we like luckily in crypto we have communities, we have peoples, and like the power of community is really is really amazing compared to like traditional online advertisements. And here for True World, we are willing to give out our to put up our effort to drive this decentralized world and the Web3 future. And we hope like with our help there will be more and more stores accepting crypto, maybe just even one, and that will help. That's something we've done in the crypto space, and we've pushed forward for this decentralized world that we're living in.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
definitely think you're setting the foundation for all of this with the UGC, with any store being able to put their own airdrop and showing that you can convert, online users to real world traffic. You kind of have all the ingredients to make something amazing.
Yes. Oh, there's actually one more thing that I want to mention here. Just beyond the UGC, where the stores or projects can roll out their own location-based airdrops, we are also seeking for a solution where people can just with one click, and they can mint some, and they can create, deploy, and mint maybe NFTs or tokens, and then airdrop to their community. So this is something we've been seeking out and trying to collaborate with a few projects. One of them is, oh, this is actually going live recently, actually in a few minutes. We are collaborating with We.Rich, one of the meme coin launching pad on Base, and they're actually also Coinbase launching summer winners. We're trying to collaborate with them and see how we can do in terms of that, so that in the longer term they like you don't like for projects, especially Web2 project, you don't have to have your NFT prepared or tokens minted already before you airdrop to the people. You can just mint it and airdrop to the people. So this is so different. If you think about like concerts or music festivals, where let's say the artists tonight they're going to host some events in like arena in Toronto, and they just wanted to mint and airdrop the NFT to show the loyalty to of their fans, of their community. Like if you go to talk to them and say, "Hey, mint, like deploy this NFT, create one like a picture, and utilize that to deploy an NFT." set how many people, like if it's ERC 721, if it's ERC 1155, they always get so confused. But if we are allowing them to deploy in the same time, what we really want or need from them is a picture, right? It's just like need a picture and set, how many people you want to launch to and how many NFT you want to mint, and voila, that's it. That's as simple as that. And after that, the artists can utilize those NFTs to build their own community or do whatever, or maybe even utilize those NFT as a proof of attendance of people for some certain historical event. So, for example, we know that, 2 months ago or 3 months ago, Trump got shot, and a lot of people are actually putting up some meme coins, let's say fight or MAGA around because like from that event. But what if we can mint or deploy some memorial NFT there to help people to remember, the place? And this is one simple use case, but like what if we can build something that even more popular, maybe say like whatever, like there are a lot of like things going on, and some of the places can actually be the meme itself. I can really hardly recall one of it, but like the place is actually really important in the history. So if we can mint NFT there and launch NFT based on location, and only people there are be able to claim those NFT, that will make the NFT more valuable, more scarce, and also in the same time, yeah, it can be valuable, but also in the same time it can be also like a proof of tenants being there. So this is something, yeah, we're seeking for NFTs, for the UGC, and also the combination of UGA, user generated assets. So right now the UGA is really about tokens, but for us we're seeking to bring the UGA into NFTs associated with locations.
Yeah, the POAP thing gets really interesting
Yeah.
because you have proof that you, especially for historical things, that you were there in the middle of history, and like you could potentially become like a point of contact for someone doing a documentary on like a protest or an event that happened, and they can see all the people that were there looking at on-chain data that got this NFT.
Yes, that's really interesting, and in fact, we're actually talking, and we're reaching out to POAP, and we talk about synergies between POAP and us. For them, they are sort of like building more of like an infrastructure layer and protocol for proof of attendance protocol. That's what actually POAP means. And for us, what we can do further is that we are no longer just the protocol itself, but we are building the consumer facing, the user facing application to give a little bit extra fun. And only think about it, like the POAPs are only um, valuable if there's really kind of like a decentralized map, or if there's a mini map where you can see lots of like POAP going on in the world, right? So that's something we're trying to see if we can collaborate with them, or even like we can build something on top of POAPs. So this is, yeah, actually this unlocks a lot of like potential possibilities in the future because of the real world connectivity in true world here. So I'm really like, even myself, I don't really know what true world will look like in the future, maybe 1 month or 2 months, because crypto moves so fast, and also like our project moves so fast, and our community moves really fast. So yeah, but like I can really just give you a little bit like brief introduction and what true world means to me. Like overall, we are building the minimap for everybody's big game of life. The minimap can do is there for everything you've seen on in the game. We're trying to migrate that and give the same experience to real world, to everybody's life, to make the ultimate goal is actually like this is the initial goal for why we're building True World. Um, it was slightly just past the pandemic where people sitting in their room playing games. But for me, I'm thinking, okay, why do people playing games so much instead of playing the real world? Because real world is something really interesting, and ain't no such game that can compare to the real world, right? So that's why I say I'm start thinking about this. If we can build something that's actually making the real world more exciting, more interesting, like nobody will play games anymore because everything can be found in real world, just not fightings, but the real world is much more beyond a game. So that's why we built Truworld, to let everybody cherish their own life because you only live once and there's only one world, one life.
Love it. I know we're a little bit over time, so I just want to get into what is next for you. I know you mentioned kind of in a couple of minutes you're launching a meme token on the platform. I think you said. And how can the audience stay in touch with you?
Yes. So the next for True World is that right now, before this month, we're still building our initial community and our application is not yet launched. But right now, our team is working so hard to bring the application live out for the first public round of testing, and we're still determining, like we're still deciding how many slots we're open this time. Maybe it will be a limited slots, or maybe it won't. But like it all depends on the internal analysis in terms of like the numbers, and since it's a public testing, and it all depends on the numbers or metrics we really want to. So I'm afraid that I cannot give that answer yet, but our iOS application will be launched sometimes this month, and our Android app will be sometimes launching sometime later on after the iOS. And after these two rounds of launching, we will be announcing our next strategy in terms of maybe details on the next round of public testing, maybe some tokenomics and airdrop details, etc. Because essentially we are play to earn game. We're kind of like explore the world to earn game, but we're focusing on the real world. So for the audience, please stay in touch with True World. Go ahead, follow True World underscore Web3 in Twitter. I'm pretty sure if you just search True World, and it will pop up. Notice that True World is not two words, is just one word without a TRU world. And we have links that you can start join our web portal, mint our early sport NFT. That's a must do for our community. And then join our Telegram to start chatting with our community, get in touch, and have some Q&A and learn more about True World within our community. And we really, really have a strong community that people are posting things every day, eager to see when this application is launched. And yeah, feel free to join in, and I will be there always, all day, and sometimes I will be hop on some talks and spaces in the same time. So go ahead, follow us in Twitter. Go ahead, log in our web portal, register, and mint one NFT. Then join our Twitter. Join our Telegram. Also, in the same time, for the True World community that is watching this, go ahead and give a follow for Chain Safe Gaming, and really appreciate Jay for having me here. And shout out to everyone from Chain Safe. And let's hang out next time whenever I go to Toronto downtown again.
Awesome, definitely. Thank you for joining the stream. It was a super fun conversation. I always love learning more about what you're doing. There's just like infinite possibilities. I could keep thinking about this, going back and forth in chats and stuff. But I'm excited for UGC, for the fog of war, and for people to start kind of living the best life possible by playing games everywhere they go.
Nice. Thank you so much, Jay. And it's my honor and pleasure to talk with you and talk in front of this live, in front of the thousands for viewers today. Thank you so much for joining. Shout out to ChainSafe again. Please give True World and ChainSafe another round of follow and applause.
Thank
Thanks.
you. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Have a good day.
All right. Have a great day, everyone. See you all later.